everybody, it's WhatDaBuG. Yes, I am back. I hope everybody's feeling great today. Let's get ready for this. We're gonna dive right into it. First of all, I really want to just talk about this show. It's like the episodes seem pretty short, and then I don't know, they're just getting more and more boring as we go on. But once again, it's really for all of us to be able to see what's going on in between these stuff that we see on social media. Have you guys noticed how literally everything that's been coming out, whether it's leaked or she's been hacked? Okay, so this newest episode, she's talking to her sister about Ryan and hers nights in bed and a couple of slip-ups. Because as you know, they weren't planning on having children yet, but they continue to talk about kids and wanting to start a family. At least Mia's got enough sense to know, hey, Gypsy, you do not need to be having a child right now. That's not the best thing. She knows. Mia, she understands completely that her sister is not the right type of person to have a child. She's not gonna say that, but we can tell by her demeanor. And even if she is being some sort of way towards Ryan, I don't know, I think that the family's influence is strange. Did you guys see how Gypsy started comparing herself to her sister? She was literally talking about how her sister's got like an athletic build, and you know, Ryan starts complimenting Gypsy because he's like, you got that thing, like you're thick. He didn't say thick, but he did imply, I can't remember exactly what he said. He was saying something along the lines of boombastic. I don't you know, I don't know. So she's talking about how her sister's boobs are smaller than hers, and then she goes, yeah, she's got an athletic build, and he goes, yeah. That's when he says that weird thing, and she goes, I have a stripper body. What? Who says that? She starts talking about how her sister's stomach is flatter than hers because she does have a different body type. But the fact that she goes straight from talking about how Mia's got a flat stomach and she's got smaller boobs, I don't care. It's not important. I'm just saying what literally was being said in the show, okay? It's not me. I'm not a body shamer at all, okay? Gypsy could have said all types of different things about her body, about how she's a little bit thicker and how she's got a bigger top area, 36, 24, but she just goes straight into saying stripper body.
I got that stripper body.
I don't understand that. What do you guys think about that? She actually has a conversation. Her sister and her have a day to go shopping. They actually got a decent amount of stuff if you look at the bags that she's bringing out. They don't show us anything of her shopping. They just show her conversation in the car with her sister. They're talking about the slip up that may or may not have been a pregnancy, right? And so she literally takes her to get the morning after pill because Mia was like, Gypsy, not smart, not cool. So after all of that, Gypsy goes back with her and starts complaining about how she's shocked because it's one pill, and she's like, it's $40. Mia actually says one of the smartest things and actually good advice. She's like, well, yeah, you spend $40 now or thousands of dollars for a lifetime, you know, essentially. Well, what would feel like a lifetime to her because Lord knows, Gypsy and her time. As the day continues on, the girls do start talking about Christy, how she had spoken with Ken. But before I get to that, the girls had talked about her rhinoplasty. And literally that was one of the reasons behind why if she was pregnant, it wouldn't be a good thing because you can't have surgery like that when you're pregnant. So look, I don't want Gypsy, and I know Gypsy does not need to have a child. It's not even a want for me, actually. I could care less, for real, but also at the same time, no, because you're fucking that kid up before it's even born. There's so many medical things that could be wrong with that child based off of the chromosome disorder. That is, once again, a different conversation. You know, all of this is factoring in, and it's just like, whoa, no. Ryan gets upset with Gypsy, and she's like, oh, you're being controlling and I don't like it. And he's like, no. I'm not mad because you spoke to your sister about a possible pregnancy or, you know, even about our sex life. He's like, I don't care. It's the fact that you said it in front of the cameras. And she's like, I just told my sister. No, you didn't. He's like, you told the world. You know this show is going on national TV. You know there's gonna be people watching it overseas. You're a hot subject right now. What are you talking about? Then she goes and starts recording him and her's argument. It's not even an argument, really. It's more of a disagreement because they're not necessarily arguing. she's just really not listening and she doesn't care. So she turns her phone on, starts recording, and she's like, you're switching up because the cameras are on. And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, straight up telling you I'm mad. We've already heard him say it. And he had a valid reason. That's a pretty private thing. I mean, I wouldn't want someone I was having sex with to be like, oh yeah, this is what happened in bed. Dude, yeah, you can talk to your sister about that. That's regular sister and brother talk. That's sibling talk right there. I mean, you're gonna talk to your sibling, your brother, or your sister about things, you know? Especially two sisters talking about things like that. He's not wrong. The fact that she decided to wait to have that on while they had the GoPro rolling in the car, and then again with the crew, they couldn't even have the privacy, you know, he couldn't even explain himself without her having the camera on. She knew she was gonna be giving that to Lifetime, because you know they're like, yo, if y'all think that there's gonna be a spicy, juicy, anything like that, please, please, please give us any footage. So if y'all want to, I'm surprised they haven't left them cameras outside of whatever they provide them with when they're there. When Gypsy was talking about her rhinoplasty, she was talking about their nose, and her sister was like, I hate my profile as well, because Gypsy was like, I just hate how it goes in and then it goes back out and then it comes down. Yeah, okay, that nose, that's a horrific nose. I'll agree with her there. But the fact that that's just the priority, you know, she hasn't donated any money to anything. Not even donate. She hasn't paid back anything. It's just, it does not make sense. And then they wanted to try, for the sake of the show, for her to work with Habitat for Humanity, you know, to make it look like she was giving back. But once again, she could donate money, she could give money, plenty back to any and all charities or foundations, you know. She hasn't done that. She could do it anonymously even if she wanted to. Her being Gypsy, it would have to be public knowledge. So even if she did it anonymously at first, we'd find out about it 2 seconds later. Back to what I was saying about how Gypsy and Ryan weren't being safe. Gypsy decides that all of a sudden her Instagram and her TikTok pages, she says that they were hacked, but there was a picture of a positive pregnancy test, okay? And then all of a sudden it was taken down and her accounts were suspended, and then she makes another post and she's like, sorry guys, I was hacked again, and you know, I'm setting up for an appeal to open them back up, just so you know, let them know I was hacked, this wasn't me. Oh, really? Really? Because for Pride Month, Lifetime was talking about the sexuality and messing around with girls, and then that became a thing. All of a sudden, there's yet another pregnancy leak, scare, thing, issue, whatever, for the drama again. So it's lining up with this show as well. So isn't it weird how there's all this pregnancy talk and morning after pill talk and he just jizzed in me talk? It was an accident. I'll pull out, baby. I'm sorry from now on. All of that. And then the same week, literally within a few days of that episode airing, prior to that, there's the pregnancy test. Sweetheart, I ain't falling for your shit, and I hope none of you guys are either, because come on, I don't know, she's so full of shit. I know I keep going back and forth between the pregnancy stuff and her talking about her nose, but it's literally all basically in the same conversation. But I'm sure you guys can keep up with me. You know I got bug brain, so I love you guys. Anyway, she does talk about how she wants a more feminine slope in her nose. I don't know. I think that there's plenty of men that have beautiful noses and plenty of women that have a... I get it. I understand what she's saying, but it's just strange. I guess there's a nose that makes more sense on a man than a woman, but at the end of the day, you're still a woman that ended up having it. It's not like there aren't mothers that give that nose to their daughters. Whatever. I just wanted to say something funny about that. One of my very best friends, she's passed now, but she hated her nose and she blamed it on her dad, but she does have her dad's nose. It doesn't look like her daughter's got it, so not at this point in time, at least. Rest in peace, baby. Now look, there's nothing wrong with Gypsy talking to her sister, okay, about anything that she spoke about. There was nothing wrong with that. I do agree, like I said, with Ryan about certain subject matter shouldn't be on the show, but why wouldn't she go for that shit? That's right up that drama alley. She does start talking about the things that bother her about Ryan when Gypsy and her sister are going to go get pedicures. She just sounds like a nag. She's like nitpicking at little things. She's like, oh yeah, I don't like clutter, and I lived with a hoarder and I don't like clutter, and it drives me insane. His house is beautiful. That apartment is organized, clean. I don't see anything wrong with it. And she starts talking about how there's clothes all over the closet. When you're a bigger size person, your clothes are bigger, meaning they're gonna take up more room. It's gonna look like there's more store, but it does not look cluttered. It just looks like he's a big guy that's got big clothes. Also, he's a school teacher, so you need to have more than just 4 button-ups, you know? He's gonna have button-ups for days. And he does. That's exactly what he has. The school year's a long time. You don't want to be rerunning too many times. That ain't good. You don't want to rerun. Okay, so there's the conversation that we've been being teased about with Rod talking to Christy saying, yo, if anything happens to Ryan and Gypsy, it's your fault. And if it's because of Ken, it's especially your fault. So apparently she wasn't just on the phone with him. She spoke with him on the phone for 2 hours. That's a long time. I'll talk on the phone because, you know, millennials. I don't know if all of us like it, but I love being on the phone with friends. 2 hours is a long time for a stepmother to be on the phone, a parent to be on the phone with an ex-fiance of their child's. I don't really get that, which kind of leads me to believe that there's possibly something more going on between Christy and Ken, but he's definitely here just because the infamy. I mean, he's here for that bag. Based off of all the different lives we've seen, and when Gypsy was talking about Ryan and his body was just weird, he's like shaking, and he, you know, like I said before, Christy is absolutely to blame, at least for opening the door. That's literally what Rod said. You could have spoken to Ken. You could have spoken to him. That would have been fine, but she went and ran to Gypsy and was like, guess who I talked to? It started all this stuff. Ryan was already insecure about it. So, you know, there's that part when Gypsy's in the car with Ryan to go get dropped off to go see Mia, hang out with her for the day. Ryan's hovering over her and he was like, you know, what's going on? I totally get that. I don't think that he's out of place asking her. I mean, he shouldn't be looking over her shoulder reading stuff like that. Definitely not. With all this stuff taking place, and there's so much that we actually don't get to see because they're being really weird with the things that they're showing. Obviously, that car scene, there was so much more that was probably talked about in that car, but they had to make Ryan look like he was crazy or insane or hovering or controlling, just like they tried to make him look like he was controlling later on when they're having the conversation about, dude, why did you literally on camera tell them about our night? Why did you do that? That information, if it had slipped, that information would have been for us to find out together had it had been like that. Even though she went the other route with it. Did she talk to Ryan about that? No. And it's not Ryan's decision. At the end of the day, I don't care whether you're married or not. Her body, her choice, okay? But I do think that she still should have had the discussion with Ryan or just at least been like, hey, I'm not ready and I'm doing this and I'm just want to let you know. And maybe she did. Maybe she did tell him, but we didn't see that. Nope, they just skipped to another scene of him being mad and having a conversation about it. It's not like he's mad about her making her own decision. He's not mad about that. Go ahead, Ryan, go ahead. Now, back to Christy. She is just causing turmoil. I don't know what her deal is. She is a strange woman. The stuff that she says online to people and then the stuff that she's saying and doing to herself, she looks guilty as hell talking to Rod. She's like, oh man, Rod's mad at me. Even Mia brings up the fact that Ken is causing issues, not just between Ryan and Gypsy, but Ken is causing issues between Rod and Christy. I mean, this guy is a home wrecker all the way. There's no denying that. Christy's a home wrecker too. She was around when Rod was married to Dee Dee. I don't care whether they were a good couple or not, you know, there was still that other woman around. But I think Rod, I'm sure he's enjoying the money that's coming in, and I'm sure, you know, he's living his best life and trying to kind of do what he can. But I do think that he's pretty genuine in the fact that he cares about his daughter. He cannot help the fact that Gypsy's made the choices she can make. I mean, there comes a point where you make your own decisions, and the things that your parents taught you or didn't teach you, their time of parenting the way that it should be is over. Rod lost that opportunity. He says it himself. She's a 30-year-old woman making 17 or 18-year-old decisions. And he just kind of shakes his head and he's just like, he dropped the ball on that one. Hardcore. What do you guys think? Hey, everyone that subscribed, thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. I love you so much. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed, come on. There's nothing to be scared of. We have fun here. Mia, she doesn't really like Ryan. We saw it in the first episode when she's like, well, I don't know, I have to see how they are together before I make my decision. Okay, cool. She was trying to be fair, but apparently she doesn't. Based off of the way that Gypsy's saying things about him and when she's bitching about and nitpicking about the things about the house. But I do think that there's a point where Mia kind of looks at her and she's like, you know? But outside of that, Mia's totally rude about calling Ryan out. She says, oh, Ryan's a grown man. I don't know why he couldn't just talk to you directly about it. Why he couldn't talk to Mom, Christy, but why did he text Dad instead? Why did he text him? Honestly, I think that Ryan feels out of his depth and doesn't really know what to do. He already knows that Mia doesn't really care for him, and he knows Christy ain't there. She's not about him. So he goes to Rod because guess what? Rod is someone that's made him feel like he can trust him, and he's made him feel welcome. Even outside of that one comment that was made the first episode. Whatever. We don't get to see very much interaction between Rod and Ryan, at least not at this point, and I don't think that Rod has ill will or anything like that towards Ryan. I think it was a good idea for Ryan to text him because I think it would have been too dramatic and too over the top, and Christy does not seem to be the kind of chick that listens. You would think she could listen with those ears, but she does not. They don't work. What do you guys think? Do you think that Christy is solely to blame for Gypsy and Ken's open relationship? Or do you think that Gypsy would have contacted Ken regardless had Christy had not butted in? Okay, so back to when Gypsy had opened up the morning after pill. So like I said, she starts talking about how much it cost, whatever, but then she goes to take the pill. Now remember, this is a woman that as a child throughout her whole childhood was medically abused and had to take all types of medicines to the point where her teeth rotted out and she was malnourished, right? Even though she had a feeding tube. And remember, she's taking a ton of medicine, but she goes to take one, not two, not three, and not even a big one. She takes one round, small and has to chug a ton of whatever gross looking watered down juice tea that was. She's gulping that thing down and making faces, and I'm like, is she really trying to make it like she can't swallow this one pill? Because if you were used to taking pills on a regular basis, why are you struggling to take this little joint? Alright, so this episode, what they did was, you see it pop up and they're like, Dallas, Texas, down at the bottom. The third says that. So Lifetime went all the way and it's like, Ken wanted to speak on camera for the first time. Yeah, sure. Remember? The contracts, guys. The contracts. He couldn't wait. He was so excited. He's like, I didn't know Gypsy would have blown up like she did. I didn't expect that. But you supposedly ran away. But no, you had to go change your story. So that's why you were on the phone with Christy. You wanted to make sure that you were good to go to be on the show because you wanted your 15 minutes of fame. You want your goddamn bag. Okay, fine. You know, the whole family are users. Why wouldn't they put you in there? So then he starts talking and his hand is doing some weird movement. You gotta watch the body language with this guy. He's awkward, but something's off about him. Like, it doesn't seem genuine at all. He doesn't have that sparkle in his eye the same way that even Ryan does when he's talking about her. He can be upset and he still is like, you're my wife at the end of the day. It's not like I'm just gonna break up with you. Ken, it is not genuine. Something's off, and I'm actually glad that we're gonna be able to see at least more of the detailed body language, because seeing somebody on a live where you're seeing just a little bit and you're not really seeing the full thing, full body shots make a big difference. They do. Just nothing about him seems genuine at all. A complete user. I highly even doubt that Gypsy and Ken are even together. Now, some of you all have been in my comment section saying that more than likely Ryan would take her back in a heartbeat, and I totally agree with that. It would be really sad for him to do that, and I really hope that he doesn't, but I also hope that Gypsy finds out fairly and squarely that Ken is using her, because ain't no way. What do you guys think? Don't forget to like, follow, share, and subscribe. Hit that button down there. You guys are amazing. Ring the bell wherever it may be. Have a great, great day. Have an even better night. Or if it's the afternoon, I don't know what you do.